I was gifted this product so that I could show you everything you needed to know prior to purchasing to make sure it's the right fit for you. And I was surprised by quite a few things here. So I wanted to go over these so that you can be prepared and know that this is a good fit for you. So first of all, this is the size of your little pottery wheel here. You put on your clear tray there, and then you put on your spinner right there. So with this base, I think you have a typo on here, reverses. I think there's not supposed to be an S at the end of there, but that is reverse. This is pause, and then this is rotation there. Usually on these wheels, you'll see like rotation left, rotation right, and then, you know, pause or whatever. But so you've got co-rotation, pause, and then reverses, but I think that's supposed to be reverse. The other side is this knob, and that changes the speed control. You can see here that I've got some clay in there because as I'm going to go through in a minute, this is not an activity where everything is going to be nice and neat. You definitely get your hands dirty. The cord that you see here is a little pedal, which is really nice. If you push on the pedal, it stops this from rotating. So it pauses, and then you can lift your foot up, because as I mentioned before, your hands get pretty messy, and so if you're having to click these and move these back and forth, you're gonna get stuff all over it. So this is really handy to put your foot on there to make it stop, and then once you're repositioned or you've got whatever you need to, you can let go, and then it starts going again. I used this with my kiddo as a fun little like one-on-one activity, and I'm not gonna lie, at first I was a little bit like, what did we just get ourselves into? The first thing that I don't love about this is the fact that this charging cord is quite short. So you do need to make sure that you're in a place where you can reach it or get an extension cord, because you do have to plug this in and then put this in there. It worked for me because I was able to put this on my counter, and then as my kiddo was working on it, I just kind of moved it in a different direction so the water wasn't getting on that. And then this also has to be able to touch the floor. So that is one tricky part about making sure you're in the right spot. The other thing is, again, make sure that wherever you are, it is easily wipe-upable and isn't gonna have a problem with any water, because although you have this tray, it just drips and you got stuff on your hands, and it just happens. So as I mentioned, I did this with my kiddo, and at first it was a little bit overwhelming. We got the clay, and we just opened one packet of this, and then you put it, I just like put it under the water and started like kneading it really well. And so my hands obviously are full of clay, but you got to keep kneading it until you don't get that like real, like, I don't know how to explain it other than like if you break it and it's kind of like holding its shape on the inside and stuff, then you need some more water, and you just keep going, and you can kind of notice like the texture of it changing. Then we put it in a ball, got it in a ball, and you want to make sure it's like center in the middle of this tray right here, and like stuck on there. So we got that on there, started turning it on, and then as I was helping him, I was able to kind of like be on one side and hold my hands and like put his hands underneath my hands to help him get an idea of the feel of it. And then after a little bit like this, I was absolutely shocked and a little bit embarrassed at how hard I thought it was. And then we took over. He did like a fantastic job, was just molding it, moving it in and out, and just shaping it, putting it back down to reshape it again. The nice thing about this is that it does come with some instructions, but the instructions are pretty vague when it comes to that. I did have to phone a friend about making sure that like how the clay was supposed to be, but then also another tip that I found is keep adding water. Like put water in your hands and then put it on the outside, because as you're working the clay, it gets dry and the water starts to puddle in the tray. And so if you have like a wet sponge to kind of put around it, then it ends up getting more smooth as you start working it. And that seemed to help things take shape and go a lot better. We also have some tools that it comes with here. So these were kind of fun to play around with, to use to kind of scrape things up, even fudge a little things when there's a hole. I was able to kind of fix that down in the bottom. And then after that, we took it off of the, oh, that was the other thing that was pretty tough, is taking this off of the tray, off the wheel itself. So in my experience, they use like a wire usually to scrape it off. It doesn't come with anything like that. So we use like dental floss and like a little like spatula basically to kind of like put it up and then put it on a plate to let it air dry. After about 12 hours, it was still a little bit wet, so we put it outside and left it in the sun for a while, and then the next day flipped it over, left it in the sun again, and then we were able to paint it. This is kind of what our little creation ended up being. It was really fun for him to be able to paint this, and he did use like the tools to add like some letters on it, to put his name on there, and he calls this his little activity cup that he made. The paint is, I mean, the paint that it comes with is fine. It works just fine. He painted all over inside of this thing and just kind of went to town, and it was just the funnest little activity for us. So there are some things to be aware of, or a learning curve per se, but if you're able to take my tips and the things that I learned, I think that you would have a great experience using these things, all things considered. So if you're looking for a little pottery wheel for your little artist, or just some like fun, messy one-on-one bonding time to learn these fun things, I would highly recommend checking this out.